put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you for staying with us. I am Adanna Combie.
And I am Beryl.
And we continue to bring you updates this morning as it relates to what is happening on the island of Tobago. And this morning we head on over to speaking with the director of TEMA, Mr. Allan Stewart, as he brings us an update this morning. Good morning, Mr. Stewart.
Hi, good morning, and good morning all of Tobago. It's good to hear your voice sounding so, in bright spirits, and therefore we are very happy for that.
Right, of course. And I know you've been on the field since the announcement was made that we are under, even when we were at Stormwatch, you have been on the field there, putting things in place, strategizing, setting up systems to ensure that we are as safe as we can possibly be. And of course, should anything happen, that you are able to pick up the pieces in the end. Mm-hmm. So from where you stand this morning, we have had reports from as far as Charlottesville this morning. We saw someone leaving their vessel in the water and it, of course, turning over, and we saw community members coming out to assist. We're hearing of trees falling in communities, and so from where you stand, what kind of updates can you bring for us this morning in terms of the impacts so far on the island of Tobago?
Well, we have received a number of reports within the early part of the morning, and we continue to see those reports being increased. Just around 5 o'clock this morning, we start seeing a steady increase in reports. I think we are way beyond 15 reports at this stage. These reports will continue as people within their own sector continue to do assessments, and as the Beryl passes to the north of Tobago, it will get closer, the eye will get closer, and therefore we'll see extreme winds coming in, which are sometimes coming in from on the western end, and therefore north and the west. And these winds are now taking a toll on resulting into fallen trees, and we understand that we have reports of 2 roofs that has been dislodged. One part of a school in the east, and also we have reports of a roof being damaged in the Mount St. George area. Those persons are currently housed at the shelter, a family of 7. Fallen trees seems to be it. We will continue to see that happening, and with the rainfall that is associated with Beryl, we will continue to see strong gusty winds, some of which will be sustained to some extent, and also we will continue to see an increase going forward of flash flooding as these rain bands come in further. We recognize that Beryl, the rains are more on the southern side, southern and eastern end of the system. So as the system moves above us and closer to us, we will also see later on in the morning some of these weather coming in from on the western side, where winds will be coming in from an upward direction, and these may cause damages to structures that are not in good keeping. However, we are, as soon as our teams from TNTech and the different utilities are all poised to respond to these incidents once the conditions are safe enough for responders to go out. It is still very dangerous. There will be strong winds coming in, and there will be slope instability. So as soon as the system die down, we are hoping to mount a very swift response, do a reconnaissance as to see the degree of damages. But we, as I said before, we are expecting to see an increase in reports going forward because Beryl is still with us. Haven't moved us yet. sufficient that we could say we are out of the woods.
Okay, Mr. Stewart, as it relates to the shelters that were open yesterday, I'm not sure what time though, could you give us a little report as to what are the figures like or the occupancies in shelters around Tobago?
We recognize that we have lost electricity, and in some parts it's difficult to communicate with all of the shelters to know exactly what's happening in terms of the numbers. But we know as far up as Charlottesville, persons went into the shelters. Charlottesville was pretty much high occupancy. We don't have the figures at this time. So when we get those figures, surely we will let you know exactly what the occupancy of the shelter total looks like. So we work with that information for you. I am myself is remote. This is my downtime. So I am monitoring the systems from remotely based on the technology to be able to log in and see what is happening with the reports. However, there are teams on the north.
Mm-hmm.
There are teams in the east, meaning therefore a third team is embedded in the Speyside area to provide a response to that area as soon as the weather permits. Also, on the northern side, you have the IQUD placing equipment with the anticipation that there may be landslide later on as a result of Beryl. There also will see the same thing happening on the eastern end, and therefore equipment is strategically placed in the east by Works Division or the IQUD. So that's the type of response that we are doing. The EOC remains in operation mode. We would have lost electricity in many areas, including the north side, and therefore even at the Emergency Operations Center, we are operating on emergency standby power at this stage. We are not sure how long this is going to go for, but we know, the conditions are not conducive for responders being out there as yet.
All right, Mr. Stewart, thank you so much for bringing us those updates. And I know, as you said, it's your downtime, but we still want you to remain safe. Or the staff that you have out there, the composition of persons who are assisting, or the volunteers that might have come out, everyone that is in place to lend support this morning. We hope that you remain safe and that, of course, you aren't overwhelmed with having to provide relief on the island of Tobago for our members here in this space. We saw this morning where someone was jogging casually on the road this morning, and of course we want to speak to those persons to remember now is not the time, to go on those those things that are not important right now, because we don't want to overwhelm the system. And I know you spoke about a robust and sturdy system there to lend support, and I do hope that you don't have to exceed your capacity to provide help this morning, and I'm sure it is well managed as where you stand as well. All right.
Certainly. We're looking forward to that. We are looking for even the capacity to be exceed the capacity based on the threat of the storm and what may happen later on in the day. However, the national office, which is the ODPM, is standing by to provide levels of support. We also have TNTech crews will be assisting if it becomes necessary to bring up. We also have members of the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force was pre-positioned very early, sometime just around 7, 8 o'clock last night. We were able to bring them up. Carl was able to bring them up and have them here on the island. They have been deployed supporting the shelters on the northern side and things like that. So these are some of the operations that are in place. We will continue to see an increase of personnel, even when it reaches to an extent where it's beyond the capacity of the Tobago House of Assembly or the national government. You will see relief coming in if it becomes necessary. So these are the things that are in place if things were to go completely chaotic.
All right. We hope not, but we thank you so much, Mr. Allan Stewart. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Allan Stewart, Director of TEMA here on the island of Tobago, as systems are in place to assist where the impacts and the effects of Hurricane Beryl might take place on the island of Tobago. Remember, do not overexert the capacity that we now have. The resources are there, yes, but we don't want to do things that are unnecessary and to make a higher demand on our resources. Thank you, Mr. Stewart, so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, I am Adanna Combie, and I have with me Bianna Brebner this morning, and we are bringing you information as it relates to things happening on the island of Tobago. We were in Charlottesville earlier with Candice Jackson, our reporter there. We saw where the winds are picking up very much. The waves are choppy. The community members are coming out to assist wherever they can. We also spoke with Luke this morning. He was at the Esplanade there where we saw that jogger casually jogging on the nation's roads, although the rains are very heavy. And also he took us to the fort. And we're going back again now to speak with Luke this morning. Okay, I'm being told by my producer that we don't have Luke right now, but we will come back to him. We have to go for a short break, of course, and we continue to advise you to adhere to all the advice and recommendations coming from the persons with the authority to so do. We don't want to overwhelm the system. We don't want to make unnecessary demands. We want to provide the measure of help to those who really need it. For instance, those who have lost their roofing systems, those who are experiencing floods, the persons who are in shelters. We want to provide that measure of support to them. So if it is not necessary for you to be outdoors, please stay inside. Let us know, of course, on the live chats what it's like in your area. You can just peep out your window. Please do not go outside. Let us know what is happening in your area. If it's heavy rains, heavy winds. We see some comments coming in. We're hearing that it's raining heavily also in Trinidad. We have not forgotten our Trinidad counterparts. We know that I know the focus primarily is on Tobago right now because we are being more affected than you are right now, but we're not taking for granted that you two are experiencing this as well. So there are heavy rainfalls in Trinidad. I'm hearing heavy rain in Mount St. George as well. And of course, we thank you so much for being here with us this morning and for bringing in your comments, for supporting us, for giving us, those words of love and asking us to be safe. We will be as safe as we can as we bring you the updates here on Tobago Updates Television on the morning show. So stay with us as we go for a short break. And as we go for a break, of course, we invite you to help us share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.